A very good evening to you and welcome to Hope TV News Watch on this 25th day of October 2022. My name is Kennedy Kimani and Boniface Murithi will be assisting the sign language interpretation. Now, President William Ruto has commissioned the Kibera Soweto Affordable Housing Program in a bid to improve lives and create employment, where he formally announced an end to the popular Kazi Mtaani project. The housing project, according to the president, will see about 4,000 houses constructed alongside other social amenities to ensure locals live dignified lives. With the end to the Kazi Mtaani project, which was started by the Jubilee government, of which Ruto was the deputy president then, President Ruto said youth will instead be diverted to the construction of the social housing project. Tess Njenga begins our bulletin with the following story.
President William Ruto has announced an end to the Kazi Mtaani program, saying jobless youth will instead be employed in affordable housing projects. Kazi Mtaani community project by the national government, which entailed cleaning of markets and other public places, will now be diverted to the county governments. Accompanied by local leaders, Ruto has overseen the groundbreaking of Soweto East Zone B social housing in Kibra, Nairobi County, a project aimed at upgrading Kibra slums. The project will be implemented in the next 2.5 years to change the status of the city.
Sasa kazi itakuwa hii. Ninyi mnanielewa? Hiyo kazi sikizeni. Hiyo kazi ya mtaani. Hakuna kazi ya mtaani tena. Kazi ni hii ya kujenga manyumba hii.
The housing project will see about 4,000 houses constructed alongside other social amenities to ensure locals live a dignified life. Once the project is complete, locals will pay the same amount of rent they are paying currently and thereafter receive ownership of the house after 20 years.
Wewe ulikuwa unalipa 2,500. Na hiyo nyumba ni ya mwenyewe. Hakuna siku hiyo nyumba itakuwa yako. Lakini leo hii nyumba tunawajengea hapa, utalipa 2,500 na baada ya miaka 20 nyumba hiyo inakuwa yako. Unaendesha nyumba yako.
The father of slum upgrading is none other than Raila Amolo Odinga. And for that I want to say thank you, because a good leader takes every good project that is there. And I know you're going to look into housing, you're going to look into food security, you're looking into water. In this city of mine, Nairobi, there are women who trade their bodies for water. I was talking to the governor about it. So we have a lot of work to do.
According to Ruto, the project is expected to create jobs for about 2,500 locals who will be involved in the construction process and provision of construction materials. 550 million shillings has been set apart to benefit the local traders and labor in the Jua Kali sector.
Tutakuwa na wafanyikazi karibu 2,500 watakaofanya kazi katika huu mpango. Vile tutakuwa na biashara. Mumesikia, tumekubaliana na contractor ya kwamba yeye atafanya 60% ya kazi. 40% ya biashara itafanywa na wafanyabiashara wengine wadogo hawa.
Mimi kama governor nimesema tutaandika vijana wetu waingie kanjo ili kusaidia na mambo ya usafi. So tumtulie hao MCAs wako hapa warepitishie budget. Ninaandika kila ward vijana ambao watafanya kazi na pia tutapatana na hiyo mambo ya kazi mtaani.
The president further asked Kenyans to ensure they diligently pay their taxes so as to facilitate development, even as they await the Hustler Fund, which will be officially rolled out on the 1st of December.
Kila mmoja wetu lazima alipe ushuru. Kila mtu lazima alipe ushuru. Sindio? Kila mtu alipe tax. Tumekubaliana? Mambo ya kulipa ushuru is not negotiable. Hatuwezi kuwa na mjadala ya kulipa ushuru. Na kila mtu, tukianza na sisi ambao ni watu wakubwa, lazima tulipe ushuru. Kama mama mboga anang'ang'ana mpaka analipa shilingi 50 kwa kanjo, mbona sisi wengine tusilipe ushuru ya Kenya jamani?
Reporting for Hope TV News Watch, I'm Tess Njenga.
Thank you so much, Tess, for that report. Now, the National Council of Non-Governmental Organization is the latest to add its voice on the extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearances matter that has sparked public uproar in the recent days. Speaking from their offices in Nairobi, the National Council of NGOs chairperson Stephen Cheboy expressed delight that President William Ruto had given a strong stand against the extrajudicial killings, noting that the support from the president will go a long way in making sure culprits are brought to book. At the same time, the chairperson, while commending efforts by the government and NGOs to distribute food to drought-stricken counties, noted that it is time to consider long-term measures to prevent the frequently witnessed drought.
What we are just doing as National Council of NGOs, being now the umbrella organization of all organizations, we are joining. That is why we are very careful with our statement that we are joining other stakeholders led by the government. His Excellency, the President, has come out very strongly to say that he doesn't entertain extrajudicial killings in his administration. And that is why as National Council, we stand with the government of the day to say that all wrongs that has been done to the government, we need action. And I think it is time we also maybe government forms a commission of inquiry. Because in the recent days you have seen, even after the president disbanding the special squad, you have seen even killings continue. So what we need to do is now maybe a thorough action from the government, of course, to ensure that we bring out all those things that have been done wrong. We also need to call on families to come out and maybe report cases.
Moving on, the Law Society of Kenya Malindi branch in Kilifi County has called on the Judicial Service Commission to hire enough judges to facilitate the expediting of cases. Speaking to journalists at the Malindi Court building, where lawyers were providing free services to the public, the chairman of the Law Society of Kenya Malindi branch, Conrad Atiang, said that the small number of judges has contributed to the delay of many cases and has put the court at a crossroad with the people.
It is not easy to deal with the issue of the time within which matters should be concluded because of the personnel involved. A case, remember, we are not yet at a stage where we can say we are satisfied with the number of judicial officers that we have to serve the entire public. A population such as this, you cannot say that you are going to limit time that much in a statutory framework for when a matter should be concluded. I think it would be only fair if we first equip our court with personnel and staff and magistrates, then we can think about it after that. Like we are doing with, the judiciary currently has placed time frame on election petitions. That one is good because of the political nature of the matter. I think we also have time frames for small claims matters. I think we are on the track towards it, but I think it's too soon until we have enough personnel to deal with cases. Then we will be able to achieve that in future.
Now, as part of sustainable measures to curb runway insecurity along the volatile Kitui-Tana River border, Kitui Governor Dr. Julius Malombe has announced plans to construct police stations in the area at a cost of 25 million Kenya shillings. Addressing a press conference in his office, Governor Malombe said the first two stations will be constructed at Konakaliti in Mudha Ward, Kitui South, and Katumba in Nguni Ward, Mwingi Central. The border area has over the last few years suffered sporadic deadly conflicts as locals and camel herders from northeastern regions scramble for pasture and water, especially during the dry seasons.
Tutajenga police stations, and we have put in our budget tuanze na 2 police stations. Moja pande ya Mudha, other border ukule kunaitwa Konakolit, 89 kilometers from Mudha town. Tukiingia ndani tulitengeneza barabara huko. Na ile ingine mahali inaitwa Katumba. We have roughly about 120 National Police Reservists in all those 8 wards, and roughly around 11,600,000 itakuwa inatumika every year kuwalipa hao. Kwa sababu ukiwatia motisha, ukiwa hata wao familia zao zinapata kitu, hata wakati wako huko wanafanya patrol na wanasaidiana na polisi, itakuwa wako na motisha.
A section of Malindi residents are asking the Supreme Court of Kenya to review its decision on the National Government Constituency Development Fund with a view to reinstating the kitty. The residents are at the same time urging the Parliament to expedite the review of the NG-CDF Act in order to align it with the Constitution and thus give the fund a lifeline.
Leo hii itakuwa ni kifo na ajali ambayo tunafanya kuiona kwa leo. Itatushutua sana na ni wengi watakuwa dropped. Kwa sababu CDF imejaribu kuinua watu. Imejenga mashule, imesaidia maofisi, imesaidia ambaye hajiwezi. Lingine ni kuongeza kwamba hao ambao wako huko juu wamesomeshwa na nini? Zaidi wengi wamesomeshwa na hiyo CDF. Leo hii wanaikataa. Tunalani kitu kama hicho.
Kuna wazee family wale hawana hata chochote, inafanya watoto wao warudi manyumbani. Lakini CDF imesaidia mpaka saa hii tuko na madaktari. Tunaomba kule juu bila walisema wanapeleleza mambo ya CDF. Tunaomba CDF isimame kidete kabisa kwa ajili wakati inatolewa pesa inasaidia hata family wale wawezi watoto wao wanapata education na wanasimama na family.
Ikiwa serikali imesimamisha ghafla tu hivi, hili ni pigo, si pigo kwa wale ambao wako juu, ni pigo kwa sisi wananchi wa chini huku. Kuna wengine sahihi serikali inasema vijana wote wasome 100% vijana warudi shule, lakini ikiwa mzazi hana uwezo, hana njia ya kupata ile pesa, anajua kuna CDF nitakwenda pale pengine nitapata pesa kidogo ili niweze mtoto wangu nimrudishe shule aendelee kusoma, lakini kusimamishwa ghafla hivi, hili ni pigo.
Sisi kama wabunge niko na imani na uhakika kwa sababu sisi wabunge peke yetu. Mheshimiwa Rais William Samoei Ruto amekuwa mbunge na anajua umuhimu wa NG-CDF kwa mbunge. Mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua ambaye ni Deputy President amekuwa ni mbunge na anajua umuhimu wa pesa za CDF kwa mbunge. Kulingana na matamshi ya rais yale wakati akifungua bunge la kitaifa, alituahidi ya kwamba atahakikisha amefanya kazi na sisi na CDF iweze kurudi katika mikono ya mbunge.
And now to a top story of the day, and members of the National Assembly Committee on Appointments have unanimously rejected the appointment of Tourism Cabinet Secretary nominee Penina Malonza. While delivering a notice of motion to the House, Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah announced that as the majority, they have approved all nominees except the appointment of Malonza. Ichung'wah, however, noted that the rejection of Malonza was not tied to her integrity, background, or her papers, as she was qualified for the job. The minority report, tabled by Azimio MPs led by Junet Mohammed, however, rejected Public Service nominee Aisha Jumwa and Agriculture nominee Mithika Linturi. However, as Grace Wangoi now tells us, all other 23 members of the cabinet were approved.
Fiery debate rocked the National Assembly on Tuesday after presentation of National Assembly Committee on Appointment vetting report that was presented by the Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah. The report indicated that the majority had rejected the appointment of Tourism Cabinet Secretary nominee Penina Malonza. However, Ichung'wah was quick to note that the rejection of Malonza was not an indication that she was not qualified to hold public office or that she lacked integrity.
3 rejects the appointment of the Honorable Penina Malonza, OGW, as a Cabinet Secretary for Tourism, Wildlife and Heritage. This particular nominee and the decision of the committee, Honorable Speaker, to reject her nomination is not a vindication, Honorable Speaker, on her suitability per se to hold public office. We did consider and look at her academic credentials, Honorable Speaker, and the nominee is very well qualified in terms of her academic credentials.
Although rejected by the committee, Kenya Kwanza members of parliament came out to strongly defend Malonza, suggesting that the 1 hour and 30 minutes that she was interviewed was not enough to suggest that she was unqualified for the position.
There is another parameter that the committee used to come up with their rejection report. And in my presumption, the committee used the imaginary presentation. You know, they used the very short event that of vetting to define her suitability. The committee is telling us that by her mere presentation, which possibly took about 90 minutes, she does not fit, or she could not be able to answer adequate questions as asked by the committee. Now, Honorable Speaker, this is not the right parameter to use when rejecting a nominee.
That waking up on a bad day, it happens to all of us. Once in a while, you don't wake up on the right side. If she has all the credentials, she's schooled, she is well schooled, she has a degree. If she has served as a deputy governor, we know the requirement is having a degree. She has worked in very, very many offices. Like anybody else would say, maybe she did not answer the questions that they would have asked, but she's not going to start a ministry. She's going to find a ministry which is already running.
Further, the minority vetting report presented by Azimio MPs indicated that they had rejected the appointment of Public Service CS nominee Aisha Jumwa and Agriculture nominee Mithika Linturi. Commenting on the matter, Ishungwa indicated that although the majority unanimously approved all the 22 cabinet nominees, it was not unanimous in their decision to approve Aisha Jumwa and Linturi for cabinet secretary positions.
Indeed, on the question of the approval, we did agree to approve all the nominees unanimously in the committee. And even the rejection of the Speaker that is proposed in this report was unanimous in the committee without taking a vote. But on the two nominees, the Honorable Aisha Jumwa and the Honorable Mithika Linturi, we did take a vote in the committee, and 10 of us voted for approval for both candidates, the Honorable Aisha Jumwa and the Honorable Mithika Linturi. 7 recorded their dissent, and that is where they have put their dissenting report.
While defending their decision to reject Aisha Jumwa and Mithika Linturi, Azimio MPs led by Minority Leader Opiyo Wandayi said the two were unqualified for the position.
It is important to note that during the committee's proceedings, this question was put to the Honorable Linturi. And his answer was that his Bachelor of Laws degree from the University of Nairobi had no issue whatsoever. And yet, according to the EACC, this is a matter which is still under active investigation.
To my colleagues in the majority side, when now they want, we had a unanimous decision, and now wanting to say it was from the minority side alone, that is also unfortunate, because you can't table something and then also want to run away from it, or to make us look like we're the bad ones, and even make the women more bad because it's a woman on it.
Their sentiments were, however, vehemently opposed by Kenya Kwanza MPs, who noted that the two were innocent until proven guilty. Parliament is set to make a final decision on the CS nominees vetting matter on Wednesday before a report is made and delivered to President William Ruto for a final decision.
Asante, Bwana Speaker.
Grace Wangoi for OPTV News Watch.
Thank you so much, Grace, for that report. Now, that report by Grace takes us to a first commercial break. After this break, we still have much more lined up for you. Stay around.
The RAF is in Nairobi. The RAF is a chance to showcase your talent in music, dance, poetry, acrobatics, and many more, and stand a chance to win 500,000 Kenyan shillings, a recording deal at Hope Studios, and many more prizes. The RAF is a space for talented youth between the ages of 18 and 24 years. Auditions in Nairobi will be held on Thursday, 26th October 2022 at Siton Valley Road in Dennis White Hall from 8 a.m. To register, send an SMS starting with #TheRAF, your name, county, and talent to 22232 to get an invite to the auditions happening near you. For more information, please call 0709-861-223. Remember to carry a copy of your national ID to the auditions. The RAF, identifying talent, inspiring passion.
thousands of people throng cities every single day looking for opportunities to make their lives better. They are employees, business owners, or just opportunity seekers desiring to have a breakthrough in their lives. Join me, DM Tanki, as we take this journey from the perspective of different successful entrepreneurs and corporate employees on Occupy Today, every Sunday from 8 p.m. exclusively on Hope TV. Look and live.
Welcome back. Now, as the country continue to face the ravaging hunger situation, one faith-based organization, New Life Prayer Center, led by televangelist Ezekiel Odero, have put efforts to curb hunger in Kilifi County by donating foodstuff worth over 30 million shillings to benefit residents. In an exercise led by Governor Gideon Mung'aro, foodstuff including 4,000 bundles of unga, 1,000 cartons of cooking oil, and 750 sacks of beans have reached out to residents of Magarini, Malindi, and Ganze constituencies, believed to be the worst hit areas of hunger. Gloria Musimbi with more on the story.
After the Kilifi County government initiated efforts to reach out to non-governmental organizations residing within and outside the county to support in donating foodstuffs to help the countrywide ravaging hunger, well-wishers have started extending goodwill messages. Kilifi is one of the more than 26 counties that are facing dire hunger due to the ongoing drought.
Baadhi ya wanafunzi wengine ambao wamebaki nyumbani kwa sababu mtu anakaa hapo kama siku 3-4 bila kuoga. Wewe fikiria mwanamke akose maji siku 3. Itakuwa vipi? Lazima tuweze kuongea ule ukweli ili serikali ijue kwamba ni nini ambacho kiko hapa mashinani. Kwa hivyo sasa katika hii eneo hili ni kweli ukame umezidi, ndovu wamezidi, na hiyo njaa iko na maji hakuna.
According to Kilifi Governor Gideon Mung'aro, already the county government has offered to distribute water browsers across the worst hit villages and will see that they will receive more foodstuff to help the situation.
Tunavyoongea tumekuja na chakula, malori ya kaunti yako nyuma analeta maji. Tunafanya kazi mbili, chakula, maji. Tuhakikisha wananchi wetu kwa muda huu wa ukame tunaweza watoa katika janga hili, hali tukipanga mikakati ya kudumu katika kutatua tatizo hili.
Area residents were up in arms with both the national and county government to help end hunger, saying the situation had been contributed badly by invasion of wild animals like elephants which keep grazing into their farms, and urged the government to quickly intervene and salvage the situation. Residents say watering points from the area had dried up, with forcing them to use traditional herbs to quench their thirst.
Usiku nimepata simu kutoka kwa msichana mwingine.
Maji ndo shida kabisa. Sababu maji ilisha huko. Hata nafikiri sasa ukiwa unataka unaweza pelekwa na ukaoneshwa mahali tunakunywa maji. Ni kama uji. Ile unavyoona uji unaweza kupekecha uji ndo maji tunayokunywa sisi. Tunavunja mti sijui mti gani huku tunaweka ndo inaanguka kidogo chini ndo tunapata kunywa. Kuna mti ambao tunavunja huku wa miti shamba huku. Na kufanya hivi.
Njia yakaingiliwa na hawa ndovu na sahihi yameisha. Totally yameisha. Na hata kama pengine tunaweza kutembea hata hapo kwa hilo dingu ambalo sahihi ni matope matupu ambao walikuwa sahihi wanayatumia hiyo matope wa koroge alafu wapate kidogo tu hiyo maji.
A report from Kenya Food Security Steering Group KFSSG and Kilifi County Steering Group CSG on food and nutrition for July stated that Ganze, Kaloleni, Magarini and parts of Malindi sub-counties had recorded crop failures for the last 4 seasons due to poor rains. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Gloria Musimbi.
Moving on, residents of Nairegia and Kare area in Narok East Sub-County have decried deprived roads that hinder them from transporting their farm produce to the market. The residents say that despite the area being a rich agricultural zone, the farmers do not get value for their crops because of the impassable roads. Led by a prominent farmer and businessman, Jeff Madai, The residents say they suffer in the hands of middlemen who buy their produce at a throwaway price and sell more than double the price at the market.
Shida kubwa yenye iko hapa sio chakula. Chakula iko mingi sana, hata ni ngumu kuelewa wenye wanasema iko njaa wanasema nini, sababu chakula iko mingi, barabara ndio shida. Gari kama hizi za kisasa, hii fupi si mzuri. Kama hii barabara ingekuwa ya lami, ingekuwa mzuri. Shida ingine ni spring, inakata springs. Ukikuja tu round 1 lazima uende garage.
Sisi ukitupea barabara kutoka junction ya Nere Kiangare mpaka mahali kunaitwa Wafom na ni 42 kilometers peke yake, zile chakula utapata hapa ni mingi sana. Kuna boga hapa, kuna viazi, kuna carrots, kuna skuma, kuna mahindi, hata gano tuko nazo. Sisi tutasaidia watu kabisa na chakula. Hizo unga ina watu wanashindwa kununua, mahindi zimejaa hapa. Hizo viazi mnashindwa kupika chips nazo huko kwenu na kukura mkimo zimejaa hapa. Sisi wakulima tutaki kujua mahali barabara itatoka. Kazi yetu ni kuchimba barabara na mikono ili gari ziweze kutoa chakula. Tunatoa na punda zetu kutoka hapa kilomita 50 na kitu kupeleka mpaka huko Jackson. Punda zinalala kwa barabara sababu haifiki. Punda zinaumia. Sisi wenyewe hatuwezi toa gunia 40, utapewa punda wapi za kubeba?
Let's now cross borders. Now, Rishi Sunak has vowed to fix the mistakes made by Liz Truss as he delivered his first speech as Prime Minister on the steps of Downing Street on Tuesday. Rishi Sunak warned his country that tough economic times and tough decisions were ahead, that mistakes were made by his predecessors, that he will work hard to earn the people's trust.
Right now, our country is facing a profound economic crisis. The aftermath of COVID still lingers. Putin's war in Ukraine has destabilized energy markets and supply chains the world over. I want to pay tribute to my predecessor, Liz Truss. She was not wrong to want to improve growth in this country. It is a noble aim. And I admired her restlessness to create change. But some mistakes were made. Not born of ill will or bad intentions. Quite the opposite, in fact. But mistakes nonetheless. And I have been elected as leader of my party and your Prime Minister, in part, to fix them. And that work begins immediately. I will place economic stability and confidence at the heart of this government's agenda. This will mean difficult decisions to come.
This week on Testify.
There are days I would party and drink until about 6:30 a.m. and go straight to work. Yeah, because I didn't want to come home now, because now my dad would have so many questions.
Right.
So I would just go to work and then do a power nap on my desk until 8 a.m. when it was time to start working. So from July 2016 to February 2020, I was homeless on the streets of Kampala.
Wow.
Yes, about three and a half years.
On the streets?
Yes.
Only on Hope TV, where you look and live.
Now, learners at Langata Primary School could not hide their joy after Cadbury Kenya Limited donated storybooks to the school. The storybooks are part of the Homegrown Stories by Cadbury in Our Own Words series. Speaking after the drive, Cadbury marketing lead in Africa, Langa Kanyile, say the aim of the children's storybooks is to ignite a culture of reading in African children by producing books that are a true reflection of their culture and skin color. The series is part of Cadbury's mobile library drive, which aims to see over 4,000 books donated to 25 schools in Nairobi.
The motivation and what drove us to really make an impact on this area was that research told us that only 2% of books published in Africa are written in African languages. Further, when we spoke to parents here in Kenya, 2/3 of them said that the stories that their kids read do not accurately represent the kids, the African kids or African context. Now we know that a love for reading starts when you can see yourself in the stories that you are reading, right? So if you are reading stories that have nothing to do with where you live, have nothing to do with the environment or the context that you see every day, your love for reading does not grow. So we called on Kenyans to help us create these stories because they don't exist. And it's not commercially viable for the publishers to do that. So we said we actually want to call on Kenyans to start creating these books for our kids so that our kids can finally start to have a love for reading. Why? Because they have stories that are about people and places that they can relate to.
And to some sport in action, double Olympic marathon champion Eliud Kipchoge has been feted as the LG SJAC Sports Personality of the month of September. Kipchoge described the award as a due reward for all the hard work he has put in his art and craft, noting that the same remains true for everyone else who stays focused on their dreams.
I'm feeling good. I'm happy to be recognized actually as a sportsman of the month. I think this is a big motivation after doing a good job, and I can say I'm really happy, and I'm thankful to SJAC and the sponsors.
LG as a sponsor for this event for SJAC for the couple of years that he has been there was aimed to try and recognize local talent. So by awarding various disciplines, various sports disciplines in this country. So we've seen like from athletics to also even like tennis, basketball, boxing. So LG has aimed to try and do this venture, and as Eliud has mentioned, also to try and encourage and mentor the young upcoming people to see that actually this is one way that you can be able to use your talents to the best of your benefit, and also how best you can do to represent your community and even you yourself and your families.
Moving on, title holders Ghana started their title defense positively after they beat Black Stars as the Kenya Ports Authority Taita Taveta Super League continued in Voi. Meshak Kariuki scored the lone goal for Ghana's 1-0 win at Karioko pitch after receiving a neat pass from Dennis Ngoto. The league has attracted 32 teams from Voi, Wundanyi, Taveta and Mwatate sub-counties and has been sponsored by KPAs to a tune of 10 million Kenya shillings.
Bandari imeongezea ufadhili. Msimu uliopita walitupatia ufadhili wa shilingi milioni 8.5. Msimu huu wametupatia milioni 10, inaelekea 10.5 tena, kwa sababu waliona kwa kuna vifaa vilikuwa vinahitajika kwa vijana, hasa kama viatu. Timu nyingi sana zimekuwa zikipewa tu uniforms na wanasiasa na wahisani, but Kenya Ports Authority wakishirikiana na Taita Taveta County Football Association tuliona kunayo haja kununulia vijana viatu. So timu zetu zote 32 zote zilipata viatu pia 16, miongoni mwa vifaa zingine kama mipira, uniform na socks.
We sponsored the KPA Taita Taveta Super League by Kenya shillings 8.7 million. This year we have actually increased to Kenya shillings 10 million. We had the cries, and we understood the deficiencies, so we had to up the game by upping the figures. This is because we did not give them boots, but this time each player gets a new pair of boots, and also here the captain gets the band to identify him. Confident they will perform better in the new professional shoes.
And finally, Aston Villa have appointed Villarreal boss Unai Emery as their new head coach. Emery, who had a spell as an Arsenal manager from 2018 to 2019, replaces Steven Gerrard, who was sacked last week. The 50-year-old will begin his new role on the 1st of November after his work permit formalities are completed, meaning his first match in charge will be at home to Manchester United. It's good to have Unai Emery back in the English Premier League. Now, that story brings us to the end of our news tonight. Many thanks to you for your valued company. On behalf of the whole crew that made this bulletin a success, have yourselves a good night. My name is Kennedy Kimani, and at the bottom right of your screen has been the very able sign language interpreter, Boniface Mureithi.